Hey yo, it's your boy Ancient Albatross here again, behind the scenes as usual these days. We will have the usual suspects of the Cypher Unlimited crew. We have Spigs18 or Anthony, we have Alfred Dean or Dean. But just as a quick reminder, if you haven't already, be sure to follow us here on Twitch and subscribe to us over on YouTube. It is a great help for our channel and we really appreciate all the support we've gotten so far. Without further ado, Dean, what are we doing here tonight?
Oh, well, as usual, man, we're gonna have tonight's actually just a chill night. We're gonna get together with Liv and Tammie and Sean and talk all things CypherCon. We're gonna talk about what's going on at MCG. We're gonna talk about like what we're gonna do at GameHoleCon. We're just gonna run our mouths. Is what we're gonna do. That's literally what's gonna happen tonight. But CypherCon is going on, guys, tomorrow. So whatever you do, there's still slots open. Jump on, jump in. Get a game going on. You know, there's lots of great GMs, and this is going on all weekend from the 6th to the 8th. Yeah, 6th to the 8th. Yeah, that's the dates. All right, Ed, go ahead, take us away.
What's up? We got a packed house here today, full house, and Liv, first time on the CU. Welcome. We have to have Sean as our old hag. He's a regular. You know, he's like the Saturday Night Live cast member that comes up. Was it Steve Martin? But even though Chad is, we're going to address the elephant in the room real quick before we get to Tammie. Chad's accusing you of only coming on because Charles surpassed you. Wait a minute, I'm getting a text from Charles. Charles just said because Tammie and Liv are on, this counts as a half an appearance for him, so he's still 2.5 up on you.
Well, I'm going to bring my kids to the next stream.
Tammie, welcome back to the CU. You know, you're the unofficial Cypher Unlimited mother. We love you, and it's always awesome to have you on chatting with us. We don't really have anything planned, so we just want to BS with you guys. So the first thing I know, and I'll give a little backstory to that. I was talking to Kate, but I was out sick for an entire week, so I was MIA from conversing with anyone from MCG for the last week or so. But prior to that, I was talking to Kate about getting Sean on or perhaps getting Liv on to book. And Kate happened to book both of you at the same time. So we were like, you know, F it, let's get everybody together. You're the MCG family anyway. So we'll get you guys all in here and we'll just, you know, we'll talk bad about everyone else from MCG that isn't here.
Yeah, just keep in mind that Kate is literally like 75 time zones away from us and can never really keep track of where we are. So
yeah, absolutely. And I was out of it. So when she was messaging me, I had no idea. When I was replying, she was asleep. When she was replying, I was asleep. So I know how that, you know, that phone tag works.
Well, you were asleep for 3 days straight anyway, so it doesn't.
I literally slept. For those that don't know, I had pneumonia and I was hospitalized. And it was actually the day we were supposed to bring Charles on. Was the day I started feeling sick, and I told the guys, "Hey, I can't do it. I feel a little dizzy," and then it went all downhill. I got a GM infusion.
we call that the tallest flu.
Yeah, he was definitely down the damage track. He was definitely debilitated. You know,
yeah, I was at least 2 steps.
That's what I'm saying. You were definitely debilitated. You know.
Oh gosh.
So first off, guys, what the hell have you guys been up to? Because I know everyone's scattered all over the place, working on different things. So I think the first question I ask is, I know that Tammie and Liv are not home. So we'll ask you, where are your guys at, or what are your guys doing?
So we are currently in Fort Wayne, Indiana. We are at Alliance Open House, hence the beautiful hotel room backdrop that we're currently sporting. We tried to make it pretty for you guys. So we've actually just come up from doing demos for a little while. We were doing some Cypher System and like Evil demos. We'll be here for the rest of the week. It's been pretty hectic these last couple days for us between the Old Gods launch and then my dad Charles's his project, The Mason of New Orleans. So we've been doing a bunch of work from our hotel room. So this is a really fun break, just getting to chat with you guys and not have to be attached to our, well, still attached to our laptops, but in a different way.
Is it a gaming convention or
No,
No.
Alliance is a distributor, and so they sell into the retail hobby industry, and they carry our stuff. And so this is an open house where we get to come and show off our products to the retailers who primarily buy from Alliance. So,
Oh, awesome.
Nice.
As a
So,
side
Sean-
question, one quick question. As a side question, when you go to these distributor conventions, what's the product that the buyers are most excited from MCG? I'm just asking because I'm curious.
so No Thank You Evil, retailers go crazy over No Thank You Evil because it's a really good game in there's not a lot of competitors, right? And so we hold up the sign to demo No Thank You Evil, and people are like, yes, tell me about this game. But MCG, the designers at MCG, Sean, cover your ears. They're really awesome, and they make such great products that every time we have like a new release, they're super excited. So they're crazy about Old Gods of Appalachia.
Crazy about Old Gods.
They want to know when the Magnus Archives is going to come out.
The starter set, the
starter set,
the Cypher
They
System starter
love
set is
the starter
awesome.
set. Absolutely.
That's one of the ones we've been demoing. Yeah, exactly. We've been doing demos of that one, which is awesome because people can come up and we can say, oh, do you want to do a sci-fi demo or a fantasy demo?
And they love everything in the box. They're very complimentary, Sean. So well done.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really proud of that. I'm looking forward to when I get my contributor copy, and I can just take it out and lick it.
No, just make a note.
Yeah,
Send Sean a distributor.
I think I'm waiting on mine. I think it might show up tomorrow. I'm hoping my copy gets here. Yeah, that's how I feel. But
I
Sean,
mean, it's always a surprise for me because they have thousands of products to ship, and my head is usually about 4 products past that. So I just get a present like, oh, it's this thing that I spent months working on that I forgot about. So yay!
well, I tell everybody that about MCG anyway. I say they're the company that just keeps on giving, because just when you think there's nothing else, then you get an email, hey, redeem this coupon, redeem that coupon. So it's awesome. But Sean, I wanted to ask you a question because I've been following you over there on what is that thing, X? Yeah, but you're doing this great project. You're restoring this house, man, and like you keep finding all these magnificent gems. So that table, what's the story, man? Have you done a seance with the table yet, or had the psychometrist come over and give you the backstory on what's going on with that table?
No, I asked around a bit. So what Dean is talking about is the basement of my nearly 100-year-old house had this weird 10-foot long, 3-foot wide table with cast iron legs and these weird swivel seats on it. And the consensus is that it was used for like home manufacturing. You just do assembly line of, I'm going to touch this thing, pass it to the right. I'm going to touch this next thing, pass it to the right. And the thing weighs like 1,000,000 pounds. I had to take it apart, get it out of the basement, take it to my garage, clear the rust off, paint it, and then drag the huge tabletop. Like my fiance and I had to drag this tabletop because it was so heavy. It's just solid wood. Around to the side yard. So we're setting it up as our gaming area. I use it as my invisible sun gaming table. I'm sanding it, blah, blah, blah. It's just this weird old artifact, and it has a lot of character. And, I don't have enough projects to, stop myself.
Note to self, Sean can take on more.
Speaking of projects, did you finish your car? The car you were working on?
No, see, we bought this house, and the house became the priority. The poor car is in the back parking space. I really haven't done anything for it in like 6 or 8 months. So still there staring at me. The crows tore off the car cover that I had it. They used it for nesting material and just had a little star off of it. And then like 2 weeks ago we had this crazy ass windstorm and just ripped the rest of the cover like off, like Superman just tearing open his shirt to reveal his costume underneath, and just the cover was just gone. So now it's just out there on site, and all my neighbors were like, hey, when are you gonna work on that car, buddy? And I'm like, shut up, I'm done sleeping as it is.
If I'm ever in the Seattle area, I'm pretty mechanically inclined. I'll definitely come and help you. That looks
Great.
that looks like an awesome project to work on. That's a pretty sweet car.
Yeah, it'll be nice. Like the goal is to get it all fixed up and painted, and then my fiance and I will drive to our wedding in it, in our fancy, cool red '68 Buick Skylark. Assuming I can get it working by then.
But you mentioned all the projects, and I know you always, every time I talk to you, you always like 3 books ahead. So if I mention something, you'll be like, oh, well, I'm thinking about this, which is like 2 years down the line. What's the project you're working on?
Well, I just rolled over the turnover for Neon Rain to editing. It went to Bruce for development, came back to me, went to Monte for creative director, came back to me, and now that is over to Terry to pass on to Ray, our editor. And literally today, I'm finishing up the zine that goes with Neon Rain, the Cyberpunk book. This stream is actually interrupting me finishing the deadline, so Terry, if you're going to be mad at someone, be mad at these guys, not me. But yeah, the zine is a fun thing. Like the idea of it is, it's like you're a merc, a cyberpunk merc, and you've logged into like a special secret website where fixers post jobs and gigs. And so the whole thing is going to be like almost like a Craigslist style of here's a gig, here's another gig, here's another gig. But the whole thing is going to be interspersed with ads for cyberpunk products, like in world. So it's just like a message where you're going to have all these ads pop up. And so the GM can either take the physical product and cut out a page and be like, here you go, and there's the ad on the backside. Or they can screenshot it from the PDF and show that to their players. So here's the gig and here's the ad on the inside.
That sounds all.
That sounds great. I got one for and Liv. I got an idea that you should plan a game to run the CU boys in, and we'll record it at GameholeCon.
That would be so fun. You know, I have, and Sean could back me up on this, for about the last 2 years, I have been campaigning for a space pirates book, as like a genre book. And I've finally given up and I'm just gonna run it myself. So maybe I'll come do a space pirates one-shot for you guys at GameholeCon. That'll be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, we gotta, and then that'll be another excuse to have you on the show, because we love everybody at MCG. Don't get us wrong, but we love having new blood come in and start, making waves. Maybe you can make your dad and Charles, your dad and Sean, you really have to have a knockout drag out.
Earlier, we were talking about how we're only a half point for, and I think that we should both be a full point, because I'm a full-blooded Ryan, thank you very much, and I think that I should even be worth 2 points in this competition, if I'm being honest.
We counted Tammie's appearances. The Ryans bloke showing out the water. Sean gotta break out the kid.
I have a rude gesture for all of that.
Come on, Sean, get on the nepotism game. You gotta get your kids involved in this. You gotta make it a dynasty. Come on.
We gotta film a 2-hour video working on the car. We gotta do a bunch of things.
Today I was tearing out plaster and lath to go and rewire all this stuff. So sure, if you want 2 hours of me just hammering stuff and you can't hear me talk, that's easy.
I mean, but Sean, what Anthony said about coming to visit and like working, that would actually be a lot of fun because, I've worked on lots of cars with my dad and I've done lots of home remodeling. Matter of fact, we just turned over the backyard. Oh, talk about lots of work.
So let me just say that a lot of people say, oh, it'd be really cool to hang out with you and work on stuff with you, Sean. 0 people do that.
Well,
and you're not salty about that at all, are you?
No, not salty. Hey, Liv, I got a quick question for you, though. What sort of accent do space pirates have? Is it like a regular pirate, or is it...
Whatever accent most entertains me at the moment.
All right.
I'm thinking regular pirates, but in that sort of techno voice. I'll get like a voice modifier,
Yar me hearties, beady beady.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's great.
I think the space pirates should all have New York accents.
Forget about it.
Different boroughs from New York.
Chat, if you guys have any questions for the MCG gang, just please post it in chat. Preface with the word question so Al could cut and paste it, and we'll definitely ask as many of the questions as we possibly can. I just wanted to touch back on one thing. Sean was talking about Neon Rain, and Dean was talking about actual plays. We were lucky enough to play test Neon Rain with Sean on stream, and I could just tell you guys, it's an absolute blast to play. I can't wait for it to come out. And yeah, I'm super excited for that book.
That book
Speaking
is
of which, I also want to add, I really appreciated the chat you guys did about It's Only Magic, and you guys loved it, and we're like super excited that you love that. And I feel you're going to feel the same way about Neon Rain. Like I was driving Monte to the airport, and he had just wrapped up his CD pass on Neon Rain. He says, this book, like especially the cybernetics chapter, I see is just going to be a standard inclusion for any sci-fi game. So the same way that Godforsaken and It's Only Magic kind of like paired up to run fantasy, Stars Are Fire and Neon Rain are going to be the pair for doing sci-fi stuff.
I will say this: the design. 2 points on that. The design shift going into a 2 book as opposed to a like majority of the book setting, to me that's my preferred way to get a setting book, especially the way Cypher System is designed at its core. So, Stay Alive, all the newer books, all the white books are chef's kiss for me. But I made my absolute worst take on that video that you're referring to because, I'm a New Yorker, I got a big mouth, I'm opinionated. I said I wasn't a fan of the color scheme of It's Only Magic. And I heard that crap for weeks.
Yeah, everybody was giving him a little bit about it. But
that's why we have these videos. It's hilarious. It's all in good fun.
But I want to.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Liv.
All I was going to say is that, I just finished running some demos downstairs and, we talk about all our sorts of products during those demos. And I actually had the great honor of chatting with someone and talking about how we make and produce the books that, our designers and authors want to write. And the person I was chatting with was a retailer, and they basically said to me, like, you can feel the fact that our designers genuinely love their content so much. Like, it is writing that is coming from passion and coming from creativity and inspiration, and it's not derivative, and it's not sort of writing what other people want. And that was a message I wanted to pass along, because I think that Neon Rain is just one of those books that you can just tell that you wrote it with so much, like, love and adoration for the genre.
And thank you. Yeah, and I apologize in advance because I overwrote for that book. It's going to be stupidly dense.
Oh,
Actually, don't even apologize, because I think for me, being the weirdo that I am, I love that. I love the more pieces of the puzzle you give me, the happier I get. That's number one. But the biggest thing I wanted to say, and this is to the whole crew, this is Tammie and Liv, I want you guys to take this compliment as well. Sean, you as well. And, maybe you can give us a little insight in how you guys come to these conclusions. But you've been doing this thing with, it seems like every white book is just like a step up. Or not even though, so I can't say a step up, but it's just another step in gloriousness. You guys have been giving us mechanics and tools and things to do that, like It's Only Magic. We were talking about that. It's Only Magic has world building advice and tools in it that you can use for any genre. The mutant charts in Rust and Redemption, the things, the ultimate damage that you've given us that everybody is starting to use, that's been using ever since they've seen the video. Everybody's adding ultimate damage to their games. What is it? How are you guys? I mean, I know you guys are passionate and love this, what you're doing, but how do you guys continue to just, seems like you kind of one-up yourselves. You delve so deeply into the actual genre.
I mean, we're very lucky to work with some really incredibly, amazingly talented people. And, I get imposter syndrome because I have to write books with Bruce Cordell. And people are like, well, you're Sean Reynolds. I'm like, shut up, I'm not Bruce Cordell. So when Bruce writes something really amazing, I go, oh, okay, so what can I do that's as great as that? And I just kind of vomit as much creativity as I can, inspired by Bruce's own flavor of weirdness. And I think, it's like a tennis game. It goes back and forth. He sees something that I do, oh, that's really cool. I can take that to the next level. Or maybe we're just siloed and our brains are linked accidentally. I don't know.
It's funny you mentioned Bruce. We were just recording some CypherCon videos 20 minutes ago with Bruce, and he said the same exact thing, Sean. No, I'm just kidding.
But no, it's just awesome, and I think you know what that's really a good thing. I guess that's what it is because you guys do that though. It seems like because, like I said, Bruce has written my absolute favorite, setting in the origin, absolute favorite. But your toolkit books, I find myself sitting here. I have my Claim the Sky right here, very easily grabbable. How much I love my superheroes, and then but you guys do this all the time, and it's just such a pleasure, first of all, to be able to talk with you and interact with you like this, but you just never cease to produce. So I want to say thank you as the fans.
Well, I mean, thank you, because like the reason why I'm able to afford a house is because you like the stuff that I have a job.
I have a question for Tammie. We talk about all these products that MCG produces, Sean, Bruce, Monte, Shauna. Everyone is really working, and you guys just produce so many great books, but they all have to be shipped somewhere. And I think the unsung heroes at MCG is the warehouse team, and the warehouse team never gets the love that they deserve. So could you just at least shout out the team and let us know what's the process like from backer kit finish to book fulfillment? What's it like for the warehouse team? Because I personally, someone that does logistics, I gotta think it's a nightmare to actually handle. You have all these people claiming their books at the same time. So can you talk a little bit about your team?
So I do want to quickly apologize. We are currently in a foreign city, and they are currently setting off fireworks at the baseball stadium near us. So if you hear some popping noise in the background, there's some fireworks going on. But I think this is a Tammie question.
Well, yeah. So first of all, we just started the Invisible Sun fulfillment, and so I have to give a shout out to Nora because I'm away. I'm here in Fort Wayne, and I'm not at all worried. I'm 100% confident in her abilities to manage the warehouse in my stead. And she called FedEx and she arranged for a trailer to be brought over to our warehouse and backed up so we can just slap labels on the black cubes and just palletize them onto the FedEx trailer and get them into everybody's hands. So I think the real question, because I know you do a lot of logistics, and I happen to like logistics, it is really about finding the systems that work and then trusting the people that you train on them. And we make mistakes and we try to atone for them and do the best we can. And, we're happy to reship when it's our mistake. And I'm so sorry. Can you hear that at all? Really? Okay. Great.
All right.
I feel like we're underwater. It's really loud here.
It was so bad. Speculating if we were in danger.
I was like, are we okay?
Are we safe?
Are we safe here?
The only thing I would add to that as well, and I think that you've pretty much covered it, but it stopped, is that we are incredibly lucky that so many people we work at the warehouse are people that are in their own rights creative. And so when there's a problem at the warehouse, they take it upon themselves to find a solution that doesn't just solve the problem, but like fixes the problem and prevents it in the future. There are people that will text me at 3 a.m. and be like, I think I found a way to like fix this. And I think part of it is that we are incredibly lucky that those people are people that are in our circle. And I think part of it is that my mother, Tammie, has done an amazing job fostering an environment at our warehouse where people are free to bring ideas to her, free to say, no, I actually think there might be a slightly better way to do this. And they're also free to say like, hey, I've made a mistake. Can you please help me fix this without, fear of being judged or ridiculed or anything. It's a safe environment where we really do.
Unless it's you.
Me. If I make the mistake, they make me sleep outside for a couple nights until I'm deemed worthy of the house again.
How big is the team?
Gosh, so we have a lot of so let me back up and let me tell you about my team. So I hope I don't want to take up the entire stream, but here we go. So a long time ago,
You guys deserve this airtime.
I want Sean has a lot of great information to share. So I'll just go back and I'll say that a long, long time ago, Charles and I got this wonderful job working for Monte Games. And then we went to Gen Con, but Charles and I had 2 children. We were like, oh, what are we going to do? And so we were like, well, let's just make them work. And so
I was 14 years old.
Maybe 12.
And
you were younger. Yeah, I was going to say you were 12. And Olivia asked, can I run the cash register? We're like, absolutely not. And like 2 seconds later, we look over and not only is she running the cash register, she's like upselling. And we're like, oh, okay, well, I guess she can run the cash register. So that kind of started this idea in my mind. And for a long time, for about 5 years, I was a scoutmaster for Olivia's troop when females were allowed into scouting. And I learned a lot through that program. Whatever your views are on scouting, I understand it's a very complex thing. I respect your views, but for us, it was a good organization for us to get involved with, and it taught me a lot about how to work with young adults. And using a lot of the principles that I learned through that organization, I just applied them at work. And so I hired Olivia's friends. And so a lot of these kids, they were also my scouts. They were also my workers. And so I was able to really, when they were faced with a problem, instead of saying, here's your solution, I would say, what do you think you should do? Who should you inform? What do you think this looks like? When they started working for me, I would be like, what do you think happens to taxes? What does your paycheck look like? Do you know that you need to file your tax forms in the year? So I was just trying to really try to give them a good basis from which they could, just have this solid foundation. And then they do wonderful things and they surprise you. You're like, Nora told me today about this FedEx trailer, and I am just like, amen, well done. I'm so proud of you.
Well, it's a little bittersweet as well, because when we first started, using teenagers for our workforce, we had the TLF, the Teen Labor Force, and I would have been about 14 at the time. My best friend Nora would have been about 14 at the time. And now those same people are now the CLF, which is the College Labor Force, and so we have a couple younger people as well.
You asked how many people on the team. So we have about 18 members on the team, but several of those are off at college right now. So over the summer, we had a larger workforce, but then during the traditional school year, it goes down to the people who are in the local high school.
They're the local high school kids
and the kids who are going to the more local colleges.
And we have so many because, we always talk about a lot of these kids are doing plays and they're in band and they're doing sports. So we have a nice
We have to
team.
have a really large roster just to cover for all of the after school activities.
I love the fact of how you mentor them. Coming in from high school, you building their confidence up and teaching them work ethic that will carry on for the rest of their lives. And that's something that's something very admirable, and that's awesome to hear.
And I want to second that, and I can attest to the Olivia story because I was there at that Gen Con because Olivia upsold me. And it was a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful thing. I was like, and I think I told Charles, either Charles or Tammie, but I was like, you need to pay that child lots of money because she was really good.
I get paid now. Don't worry.
We have a question from chat. They said it's a Black Cube fulfillment question. If you have multiple add-ons, should you wait for all your supplements and the cube to be ready for shipment rather than having them shipped one by one?
So
it's totally up to the backer. They can, and then they will pay less in shipping. They will still, if they're domestic, they'll pay $9. And then we will still ship. It will come in multiple packages. So one of the things that I'm trying to remember all of the books that are included, but the bundle of supplement books, we're not ready to fulfill that yet. So that is one of the big items that's outstanding. We still have that at the printer in Canada. So right now we have the Guiding Hand, the Testament of Sons, the
Black
extra prop sets that are from the Black Cube, not the prop set 2, but the extra prop set. Obviously the Black Cube, the empty cube, and then of course the Vizlite kits.
And just to add on to that, the Black Cube comes in a box from the shipping container, and we just send that box because you cannot pack more things into that. So it's absolutely their choice and how they want to redeem that. But if they got the Black Cube and their other things aren't in yet, if they redeem the Black Cube, that thing is just it would come separately by itself anyways, just because it is such a big black box.
Right. So,
Personally, I always wait to get a bunch of stuff because it just makes more sense instead of having the guys ship one book at a time. I usually wait till I have like 5 or 6 stuff, and then I'll
Yeah.
claim
at least 3 or 4 for me. So sometimes I can't wait.
it.
I will say our shipping team has such a very, very strong love-hate relationship with the black cubes. Because on the one hand, they are genuinely one of the easiest things to ship. Because if the order is just a black cube, you just print a label and you put the label on it. It's super convenient. But on the other hand, it is huge and very heavy. And a lot of our team are very muscular from having worked at the warehouse for a bit. But then we sometimes have like the 15 or 16-year-olds who are maybe been doing this for a couple months, and we whip them into shape real quickly with those 30-pound boxes.
Oh, hey, I got a personal beef. I used to always get a nice little personal note. I haven't got one in the last 2 packages, guys. I was
Yeah.
really disappointed.
I have to get on that.
Nora, one thing I always like to say is that if sometimes you can write us notes in the comments, and I say us because for most of my career at MCG, I was the warehouse manager. If you write us little notes to ask for drawings, we love that. It is so fun. My personal favorite is a couple years ago, we got a note that asks for a turtle wearing a cowboy hat. And what we'll do is if we have the time, if it's a day where we have the time, we'll have everyone in the warehouse draw their version of it. So you'll get like 6 or 7 versions of the drawing. And it's really sweet. We love
Do
it.
not put that in the comments if you want your order to ship like ASAP.
Yeah.
Because that order will ship, that will be held because the kids love doing that.
They love doing that.
But they're gonna hold on to that order until maybe tomorrow so that everybody gets a chance to draw. So don't ask for a drawing unless you really mean it.
Yeah, unless you're cool waiting.
And you're cool waiting, yeah.
Well, I definitely enjoy those. And from a former warehouse worker to you guys who do it now, I understand. I did 9 million lines of inventory in the military, so I can only imagine what you guys deal with, with the varying idioms. So yeah, but great work, continue, and we love you guys. We love the warehouse more than you guys know.
I mean,
Go ahead, Ed.
no, all I was gonna say. Oh, sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I cut you off.
All I was gonna say is that Nora, who is our lovely, lovely, lovely warehouse manager, she's been doing it for several years. She is actually has an opportunity to go study abroad pretty soon and this month, and she'll be leaving us for a couple months to go do that. And we are so excited for her, and we are so mad she's leaving us. We're like, can we convince you to stay just for this one last fulfillment?
This is another off-topic question, and when was the last time you, Sean, Tammie have gamed together? When was the last time y'all guys gamed together as a group? Oh, MCG for that.
Sean, you might be muted.
I did a little superhero one-shot at 2 Gamehole Cons ago. That was Tammie and Latia and her partner Chris, I think. And then before that, there was a short Invisible Sun game we did remotely during COVID shutdown.
But we played games, board games at the summit this year. We played that the game that had turtles or something. What was it?
So Charles and Tammie and Olivia and the Ryans got me at this game called Abduction, and you are aliens who have abducted ducks, and you have to arrange them on these tiles to for various streams. It's a silly game. It's hilarious. It's really fun. There's a surprising amount of strategy at it, and we played the hell out of that for that at the summit. And then also Monte, Shauna, Bruce, and I and our friend Jason, who are our every other weekly gaming group, we rented an Airbnb castle in Washington State, and we just did some gaming there, board games and RPGs, and played the hell out of Abduction there. And Monty was like, "You're kind of a ringer for this, Sean." I'm like, "It's just math, But that's actually how I got good at the game, so I could skunk people when we played during the summit.
Oh well, Sean, you're good for that anyway. The last Gen Con when we were playing all the games, and you got me stuck on code names. Remember they were like, you two can't play together anymore.
How does internal playtester work with MCG? how do you decide who gets into what playtest when you playtest all these? Because you guys have so many different settings, and I assume you have to do 1 or 2 playtests.
It's pretty much just like the designer who's, leading the project says, hey, I need to playtest this, and we'll just put out an open call on the channel. And usually, we'll get people in the design team to do a playtest because we're really super focused on various things. But then we also do one for the rest of the company because we want everybody to see what else is going on. And not everybody can have the opportunity to play with us in person or see the product early enough. So we just like to get a bit, I'm gesturing with my hands a lot today. So we just kind of open it up to other people suiting their schedule.
The only other thing I would add about games is that, as the person who does a lot of the social media stuff, I always talk about how GameholeCon is like our family reunion where we all hang out and have a great time in the MCG lounge. And literally that is where I play the most games with, hang out with the most MCG people every year. When I think about the last time I gamed with people, it's the last GameholeCon and the GameholeCon before that. And so, anyone who's interested in GameholeCon absolutely should come. It is the most fun convention. And yeah, we end up just sitting in our little lounge area that's right next to the bar and the ice cream shop and the coffee shop and playing games there all day. It's a great time.
And you can warm up by starting at CypherCon now.
Exactly. Ooh, good transition.
Thank you.
And speaking of GameholeCon, now you guys always say, it's your premier con. It's like where the MCG family has a reunion. But what would you say the other great thing about GameholeCon is? Would you say the intimacy of it? The fact that it is a major con, but it doesn't feel overwhelming, or what's everybody on the panel? How do you feel about GameholeCon as a whole?
I'll go first because I wanna. GameholeCon is really interesting because it's a lot larger than my perception, because I spend almost my entire time either in the MCG lounge or browsing in the exhibitors hall. But there's entire other sections of the convention that are for Pathfinder and D&D, and Matt Forbeck is there running Shotguns and Sorcery and things like that. So whether you want a small intimate sort of con experience and you want to hang out with the MCG people a lot, you can do that. But if you want to do more and be oh crap, I'm only seeing a third of the convention, there's all this other stuff, it's all there. It's really sweet.
How about you, Tammie?
It's it's the same things. It's everything that's been said. It's I love the venue because it is it's more intimate than Gen Con, and I also love that most of our team comes. So Gen Con is wonderful because a few team members come, and then this other team that we've developed of helpers comes. And so I love Gen Con for that.
Our extended family.
And then we go to GameholeCon, and then we get, sometimes we have the CU there, and we get the MCG people there. So
the problem I have with Gen Con, and it's not the worst problem, because I've been to 10 Gen Cons. The problem I have with Gen Con is that it's almost like overload. There's just too much stuff going on. You have to wait online for the bathroom. You have to, and GameholeCon, it's just visiting family and hey, we're gonna laugh, have a good time, and play some games. Gen Con just seems like work to me now. Maybe because I'm getting old, but.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's so much bigger. I'm sorry, Liz, go ahead.
No, please.
I was just going to say, Gen Con is literally 70,000 or more gamers. If you want to have a medium-sized city that is just gaming, go to Gen Con. I think every gamer who can should try going to Gen Con at least once in their life. And if that's overwhelming, that's okay. Then just stick to smaller cons. But there's definitely an appeal for the huge and for the smaller, cooler con.
Yeah, I think, I guess I could say I'm in a similar camp with Anthony when it comes to Gen Con. I mean, I've been going to Gen Con since, the 80s. Yeah. And it just seems to keep growing, and it seems like that's the other thing that I don't guess. It seems like everything is so far apart. You got to go from this, different hotels and everything else. Whereas with Gamehole, everything is just it's all right there. So it's like it's easy to get to, but since I'm a a cipher junkie, I don't see much else anyway. Me and Anthony will just be there taking videos and harassing you guys.
We really missed you this year. And so many people said, "Where's Alpha Dean?" And I was like, "Oh, they have a new job. They just couldn't make it this year." So.
Yeah, you guys' presence was seriously missed this year. I mean, this was our second year in our room in Gen Con, as opposed to having a game room and being out on the floor. And I think in a lot of ways we are trying to sort of replicate the vibes of Game Con, because that's just so good. But then it feels wrong when you guys aren't there, because we're like, oh, where's the rest of our family?
Well, don't worry. I will be at Gamehole, and I already have tickets, so I'm set. I already have the time off from work, and I will probably make sure I'm at Gen Con next year. I love to have CU representation. With you guys, you always make us feel so good. And it's like I said, it's just good to be in your company. And Sean, I have to tell you, thank you on a whole nother level, because you have mentored me in so many little aspects, and things are coming together with, my project, and you're just that dude. And with all the work that you do and the fact that you still take the time to give me great advice, yeah, big hearts, love you more than you know. You're the brother I didn't know I wanted.
Thank you.
Ron is the brother we all didn't know we wanted.
I mean, just for me, I love gaming, and I'm a teacher at heart. I trained to be a teacher. I was going to be a teacher, and then took a radical left turn into game design. But some part of me still is just like, hey, I see potential in you. I want you to go out there, and I want you to succeed. And I think it helps all of gaming if we have more creative people active, whether that's doing design or editing or managing a company or whatever. Like, this is a wonderful, dynamic community of gamers that play all different sorts of games. And if I can, help somebody get into that. Like, I stumbled into this. I was the online guy for TSR and then stumbled into game design. If I can be more, proactive and bring interesting people into the gaming community, the professional community, then that's great. That's my goal.
Oh, we have a text in the chat that just came up. They said, wait, you were going to be a teacher and went into game design. How did that happen? They want you to elaborate where you don't have a little bit.
Short version is I went to college. I was doing my year of teacher education training. Realized that in California, where I lived, once you started working in a particular district, you started to accrue tenure there. But if you ever left that district, you would lose all your tenure. And I was like, I lived my entire life here. I never lived in any other state or a part of the state. I don't want to get locked into one place. I'm going to finish out this, and I'm going to do something different. And then I ended up getting a job as basically the community manager for a small video game company. And then a year later, I got the job as the community manager for TSR. And then 2 years later, Wizards of the Coast bought TSR. They were opening up a full-time design position. I had been doing a little bit of freelance for the RPGA and a couple of stuff for D&D, and the creative director of D&D said, "You should apply to this job, dummy." And so I did, and they hired me as a Greyhawk designer, and that's where my foot was firmly in the door.
Awesome.
What was your first project?
Do you mean the first thing I was published in, or my first solo project?
Why don't you answer both? First thing you was published in, and first solo. Thanks for doing my job, Sean. That's why we love you.
It was a Ravenlock product called Children of the Night Ghosts, which was a multi-author sort of thing. This, again, during the TSR era, the designers used to throw a party for people in the industry at Gen Con, and how we paid for that, which is like renting a hotel suite or like a ballroom or whatever, was a bunch of designers went to the head of the company and said, all right, it's time to fund this. We will donate our freelance if you pay for the hotel accommodations and blah, blah, blah. And so every year we would just do this compilation thing. And my friend Cindy Rice was the editor, and she said, Sean, you're good at doing this. Write an adventure for this. So I wrote an adventure for that. So Children of the Night Ghosts is my first published work. My first solo book was after I was hired as a full-time designer, and it was a Greyhawk adventure called Star Cairns for second edition AD&D.
Awesome.
Nice.
You know, I have me and Dee both have extensive RPG collections, so I'm gonna find that right after this because I gotta put that in my collection.
Just say,
Let me add this really quick. If you go to my WordPress blog, which is seankreynolds.wordpress.com, I have a series of articles called Trivia and Anecdotes, where I chronologically go through every single book that I've worked on and give weird background information and trivia and behind-the-scenes stuff, including those.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, are there any plans over there, young Miss Ryan, that we're gonna see some published work from you soon? I mean, your dad's become this prolific creator, and you are very creative. You and I have had wonderful conversations, so that's why I'm putting you on the spot. Do we have hope?
I mean, I like to do so. I like to joke that my parents had two very creative children and were very supportive of us by trying to make us do every creative thing. And so writing and drawing stuck, but I have played 7 instruments and I am not musically talented. But yeah, I love to write. I've done a bit of creative work. I've done a bit. I mean, I do a lot of MCG work when it comes to sort of the more technical writing. I do. My dad Charles used to do a lot of the copy work. Now I do a bunch of the copy work for like the website and whatnot, which is more layout than writing. I like to write in my free time as well. I currently have a sort of horror fiction thing I've been working on in my free time that's about the 60K word mark. That's just sort of something I mess around with when I'm bored. And then I guess the real thing I do, I spend a lot of time doing when I'm not working for MCG and when I'm not helping at the warehouse and when I'm not studying, because I'm a full-time student and when I'm not studying archaeology, is I'm a freelance artist. I do a lot of art for TTRPG characters, for authors. I'm actually kind of silly big in the indie romance category, especially like historical romance. I do a lot of work for that. And then recently my big project has been Charles, my father, has just launched his crowdfunding campaign, The Mason of New Orleans, which is going to fund a physical edition of the book that he wrote 10 years ago, plus the upcoming sequel. And for that, I'm doing a bunch of illustration work for him, both for the campaign and for when it comes out. You can get my art prints with the book. And a funny anecdote about that is that I've been helping him build his crowdfunding campaign page because I have a little bit of an eye for that sort of stuff. And I was reading through it and I noticed that on his top tier, he was like, oh, if you back this tier, your book will be personalized and blah, blah, blah. And also the artist will sign your prints. And I'm like, she will? Oh, okay. I didn't know I was gonna do that. All right, cool. I'll sign prints. But yeah, that's what I do.
I was about to mention that. Talk a little bit more about what you call the Mason of New Orleans, and so our backers to know is currently on Backer Kit right now, right?
It is. It launched today. At 1 p.m. Eastern time. So it's not actually an MCG product, so maybe I should keep my mouth shut. But it is, Charles wrote The Mason of New Orleans about 10 years ago. It is a medieval fantasy about a 21st century guy named Martin who suddenly finds himself buck naked in medieval 12th century France. And somehow through some miscommunication, when telling these people he was an engineer, they hear that he's a mason. And they really need a castle, so they take him under their wing and tell him, go build a castle. It's really fun. It's a comedy. It's fantasy. It's very dry.
It's romance.
If you know my dad, very much his humor. I mean, if you enjoy anything MCG related, a lot of his voice from like our marketing stuff comes through in it. And it's great.
It came about because when we lived in England, we had a gaming group. And so we actually played basically this campaign, became the basis for the book. And so my favorite part of it is the knight, Sir Stefan. That was my character. I am Sir Stefan. And so when Charles is writing it up, I'm like, no. Stefan would not do that.
Speaking of another MCG member, Kate Evans, who is our marketing manager and is just amazing. She plays Madeline, who is you know, not to spoil, but she's a very important character in Martin's journey in the 12th century. And she actually messaged me today and said that the art I had done for Madeline for the crowdfunding campaign was perfect, and I was really excited by that I got her seal of approval for that.
Also, in order to create some internal MCG drama, who are the bigger murder hobos, American players or European players?
Good question. I think there are different styles of murder hobos as well. When you look at American versus British players as well. You'd have more experience about this than I would.
Definitely American.
Sean, were you ever a murder hobo as a player? You're muted.
Oh.
There we go. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I don't know how Discord works. I'm stupid. No, I'm always playing like the good inclined character that doesn't randomly murder people.
I am the same way. I always have to play a pretty morally upstanding character because doing bad things makes me feel bad.
The 14-year-old me was definitely a murder hobo.
A friend of mine told me that I would always be the good guy. I'm a good Jedi, but I have a bad attitude. So I'm the good guy that'll shoot you in the hip as opposed to shooting you in the face. But, you know, I'm going to shoot you regardless.
Yeah, you're our gray hero.
Yeah.
Sarah Fist in chat wrote naked in France, so that's a Tuesday.
You know, naked stuff does appear in a lot of Charles's works. I'm wondering what's up with that. It's like he took a page from Ed Greenwood, which is just, oh, so many people are naked to get, you know, just as a quick anecdote, like naked was such a frequent thing in Forgotten Realms that when we were working on the 3rd edition Forgotten Realms campaign setting, for a while we were thinking that we would include a feat called Naked, which is like if your character's naked, you get +2 on everything, because apparently that's how the Forgotten Realms works, because there's not one Ed Greenwood novel that doesn't end up with somebody going, I have to cast a powerful spell, clothes be gone. Da, 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 da.
That's where he gets his extra spell components from.
Oh, I don't want to think about where those are stored.
Oh.
And 2nd edition, you had the bikini armor. That was like...
Yeah, the bikini chainmail.
We've taken so much of your time, but before we even go, chat, if you have any more questions for the thing, we want to do a rapid fire questions for Olivia. Liv has never done it, but Sean and Tammie, it's been a while since you did the original rapid fire questions, so you'll feel free to jump in. And are you ready for this, Olivia? Because you know this is serious stuff.
I'm terrified.
This is where we dig deep into your soul, right? We pull out your essence. We stretch it on the table for the whole world to see. This is our world-famous rapid-fire questions.
Let's do it.
All right. Dean, are you going first or me? Oh, I'll go first.
You start us off.
Yep. Player or GM?
I am always the GM.
Oh, how about you, Tammie and Sean?
Player.
I'm most often the player, but I do like running games, and actually Monte had a guest appearance in my Invisible Sun game this past weekend, and he made a point to say to everybody, Sean is an excellent GM, so I'll take that.
Pool punches or TPK?
Ooh. TPK. Definitely.
Oh,
Pull punches.
I will kill a character if it dramatically suits the story.
Ask El Animal.
I mostly GM one shots, and I like my one shots to end dramatically.
Nice.
I never understood the concept. I never understood the concept where people play a one shot and get visibly upset when a character dies. It makes the story fun if there's death or I don't know.
Glorious death.
A one shot, I will sacrifice. You know, I've done it in more than one game we played. I'll sacrifice myself. Dive on down.
Online or in-person gaming?
Definitely in person. I am such a tactile person. I just want to touch everything on the board and I want to be able to roll the dice. And I just prefer in person for everything, basically. I wish we were doing this in person. I'd give you guys some hugs.
Oh,
Yeah,
I would
same.
too.
Yeah. Announce the difficulty or keep it secret.
Keep it secret. Keep it secret. Keep it safe.
Ooh.
Nice.
How about you, Sean? How about you, Tammie?
Keep it secret.
Ooh.
If you keep it secret, it's easier to fake it.
Yeah.
Nice.
You'd be like, oh, too bad you missed. Or, oh, no, you hit it this time. Weird.
I
You
never,
roll a 2 and you succeed. Oh, that's so great.
I never even write down health for any of my encounters or my bad guys.
Don't give away all your secrets.
No, I'm the same way, Liv. It's just like, oh, you've hit it 3 times. Okay, it's dead.
That's all right.
That was a really cool move. We'll end it there.
Oh, we gotta remember that, D. Next time we play with Sean on camera, if we hit something 3 times, no, Sean, that's counted now. That's the rule. They gotta die.
Do you really think you can use my own tricks against me?
This is the most controversial question. Salty or sweet snacks at the gaming table?
Oh, salty, obviously. Is there another option for this?
Oh, I think Tammie's gonna answer differently.
I combine them. It's sweet and salty.
Yeah,
Oh,
I remember
Yeah,
that.
same. Like, I mix it up. Like, I'll have a bowl that has almonds and chocolate chips in it, although I don't eat chocolate anymore. And then I'll have, like, chips and guac, so I can just kind of offset and maintain the balance.
I'm a big popcorn fan. I like popcorn at my game table.
yeah.
But see-
What's your favorite snack?
Popcorn, yeah, popcorn.
Now, see, Liv, but see, with popcorn, like I like to do, I get cheese popcorn, caramel corn, and regular popcorn, and make a medley, and it's
Yeah.
absolutely phenomenal.
So you're like one of those. I'm going to bring you a bowl that's a mix of Skittles and M&Ms just to freak you out.
Okay, yeah, that would be kind of freaky. That wouldn't work.
He goes to the store. He said, "Can I have some popcorn? What do you like? I want all of it."
Oh, exactly.
Everybody.
RP or combat?
That's a good one. RP. I have a lot of players that are extremely extroverted, and so I send them on a lot of side quests where usually I make everyone be in character. You're not allowed to talk to me unless you're doing a silly voice or you're standing, or all of my players are people that love being the center of attention. So I make them stand up and give me a good reason why they should be allowed to do something.
Nice.
PDFs or physical books?
Oh, see, I collect special editions of books, so I think I have to say physical, but then when I'm actually playing, I use PDFs. But I do all my planning in a physical book with sticky notes.
Love that. I'm a Dead Tree guy. I love that answer.
Yeah.
Like I said, all I got to do is turn this background off, and you'll see the books.
We're hoarders, all of us.
Pen and paper notes or digital?
Pen and paper notes. I'm a big sticky note kind of person.
Rewritten adventures or original content? Be careful because you have a game designer that's
I'm a
written
game designer.
plenty of plenty rewritten adventures.
That's a great question. I think mostly original content. I love if I'm doing a longer campaign to start it with an adventure that was written by Sean or by Bruce or Monte, and then taking that and then afterwards just disregarding all of the source material and now it's mine.
That is all. You survived the world famous rapid fire.
Only slight amputation occurred.
Yeah.
So,
okay, dude.
I was just gonna say, it's actually been a blast. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show, Sean. Tammie, you can come on anytime you want. You can just show up. We don't care. We don't care who's slated to show up or whatever. You can just show up. Just, I'm here. Liv, as usual, like I said, I met you when you took over the cash register, and you've been dear to my heart ever since. So thank you for coming on our show and hanging out tonight. And
first off, we love all three of you guys. You know how much you guys mean to us. from MCG, from everyone from the top on down. You guys been nothing but super supportive of us personally from day one, and you guys all hold a special place in our heart. And there's nothing I could say to express our gratitude towards everything you guys.
This is true.
Yeah.
And yeah, thanks again for coming on, Sean. We might want to steal you for some CypherCon videos after this for like another 15 minutes. But Tammie, Liv, thank you so much for coming on to the CU. We love you guys so much. CypherCon is going on tomorrow, starting tomorrow. Like everyone said, please go. If you haven't signed up for a game, there's still phenomenal games that have slots open. I'm personally running the Warriors based on the 1970 Gang Classic, and it's actually based on I'm also using the new rules for the game that I'm designing from the CU thing called It's Only a Crime. I'm doing a Cypher System game based on street gangs, so I want to play test some of this stuff. So please come out, and if you haven't joined that game, it's going to be a hell of fun. And yeah, we love you guys. There's not more than I can say about that.
I got one more slot open in Diamond Throne for Friday night. If anybody wants to experience the Diamond Throne, I'm running an retro adventure. One more slot available there. And I'm doing Old Gods of Appalachia on Sunday. So, and I might end up doing something on Saturday, depending on what the needs look like. But we will all be around basically all weekend to make CypherCon 1.0 a success and for everybody to have some fun. So, Anthony, take us home.
Also, before Al jumps in, bear with us. We know we had some hiccups during the CypherCon planning, and we apologize. A lot of stuff came up in the last minute, and if it might take us a little longer to get you in the game, trust me, we will be on point. We'll get everyone in the game. We'll get everyone playing, and yeah, I apologize in advance for
any hiccups that are going to happen.
Any inconveniences that may occur. If you like us and you like what we do, join the Cypher Unlimited Discord server for all things Monte Cook games. We have the largest fan-run Discord server for anything MCG. There's games, chats, there's conventions, there's giveaways, all sorts of great things. But if Discord's not for you, join our Facebook group. It's not as big as our Discord, but we still have great conversations being had there daily. If you want to support us, you could give us a subscription here on Twitch or like, share, subscribe on YouTube. We're still trying to grow both platforms. But if you want to help us out financially in any way, our videos are always free, but you could give us a little donation on Ko-fi or go to our online store and pick up some cool Cypher Unlimited merch like the shirt Dean got on. And yes, CypherCon shirts will be available there. And last but not least, we love you guys.
Yep, thank you everyone for coming by, listening to the chat. It was an awesome, chill chat. Thank you, Liv. Thank you, Tammie. Thank you, Sean, for coming on. And yeah, CypherCon's gonna be a blast this weekend, so definitely sign up for some games if you haven't already. But as usual, thank you everyone, and from us at the CU, we will see you later. Peace.